I want to talk about a book I read a couple of years ago by an author I don't really see reviewed here on BookTube too often, but she has some sort of following in the literary community, I guess. For whatever reason, I didn't particularly like the book, but I'll give my 2 cents about it. It's called Leaving Home by Anita Brookner. Um, I've read a couple of online reviews and other pieces about Anita Brookner, um, and you get this distinctive personality profile that starts to emerge. She was trained as an art historian, and she taught at the Courtauld Institute for many years, um, and developed a reputation as a pretty distinguished academic. And she didn't publish her first novel, which was called A Start in Life, until she was in her 50s. She almost never gives interviews, is known among her friends as being extraordinarily intelligent, and according to herself, she wants nothing more than to be left alone. She never married, saying about herself that I chose the wrong people, and the wrong people chose me, so it never came about. At the time, that was a cause of great sadness, certainly. So, much like in the novels of people like J.M. Coetzee, we can only engage in a willful sort of suspension of disbelief when we're asked to assume Bruckner's storyline is more novel than memoir. You have this woman named Emma, who is a novel's protagonist, and she's very much like Bruckner herself. She's sort of cold and distant and aloof, and maybe a little eager for excitement, but would think it gauche to ever outwardly show that eagerness. Feeling trapped by her suffocating relationship with her mother, who, by the way, also highly resembles Anita Brookner, Emma moves to Paris to study the designs of French palatial gardens, unconsciously thinking this might bring some sort of linearity to her otherwise disordered personal life. Once she arrives in Paris, she slowly befriends Francois Desnier, who works in a library where Emma regularly studies. She quickly pegs Francois um, as a sort of a libertine, I guess, only to realize that she too has an awkward, cumbersome relationship with her mother. Instead of the rational progress that she envisioned that could be easily transferred from her study of gardens to her personal life, she is constantly stupefied by the similarity of her circumstances. Once Emma is introduced to Francois's mother, she's quickly drawn into her family circle with their very odd, peculiar manners and bizarre rituals. Bruckner, much like she's teased herself with the idea of happiness and fulfillment in real life, has done the same thing with Emma here. She meets men, and while she may be open-minded regarding her possible success in a romantic relationship, the reader gets the distinct impression that her overbearing cynicism and willful jadedness will sort of crush any living thing within a mile, especially any living romantic thing. The message of the novel, if there is one, may very well be something like, growing is impossible, and don't be so naive as to think there's anything called happiness. Uh, Bruckner's style, on the other hand, left a wholly different impression on me. She certainly can write. She does it very beautifully. Many of the sentences reminded me of the early Henry James, with that sort of formal premeditation, sort of inwardly very highly conscious formalism, for which I have always had a real fondness. Other reviews have suggested that Hotel du Lac is a better novel by her, and it might be, even though I haven't had a chance to read it yet. But Leaving Home left me sort of tired and beaten over the head with its message of intellectual and emotional stagnation. And I guess what you can only call utter pessimism, but I'll probably give her another try one of these days. Leaving Home by Anita Brookner.